League 2025-2026 has kicked off today, and it's a big night in Uganda's capital, Kampala, as KCCA, a football club, will be hosting Entebbe UPPC, Abdallah Mubiru, Julius Poloto, Stephen Munguchi, as well as Mustafa Mujuzi, among other players, including Issa Mubiru, will be making their return to MTN Omon Stadium Lugogo once at their home. Abdallah Mubiru formerly played for KCCA FC, coached the club, but now he will be turning the guns against his former bosses, including KCCA FC former captain Julius Poloto, a man who was nurtured at MTN Omondi Stadium Lugogo, will as well be turning the guns. I'm Alex Mugarubisima. I welcome you on today's coverage, where we shall be dissecting everything between that rivalry. Most intriguing moment for the game is about Abdallah Mubiru, but also talked about Livingstone Mbabazi. His name is etched in the history of KCFC amongst the greats. But you could remember at that moment where the current head coach of KCCA Football Club, Brian Senyondo, was at Chitara and Mubiru was at KCCA FC. Remember that moment when he said Chitara is a small club, and he went on to beat Brian Senyondo. It was 4-0 against the football club at the same ground. How would the feeling be today on the touchline? The greats for KCCA Football Club are on the other side, and then Brian Senyondo, who does not have history in his playing career, on the other side for KCCA.
Well, the battle again continues. Of course, it was right because Abdallah did show it by then. Now, the question is, can Senyondo say UPPC is a small club? It is indeed a small club in terms of that saying. Why? UPPC just turned its name after being Gaddafi. And we all remember Gaddafi, when it last came to Lugogo, it was hit 5 goals, and one of the scorers for Gaddafi was Sharif Sengendo, a goal which actually got him the deal. Sharif Sengendo and Munguchi were playing for Gaddafi then. Right now, they are also going to be teammates facing each other. Now, if Abdallah is in charge of that small club with Livingstone, Mbabazi and the likes, you would think that they are the greats who are supposed to be running this. And Brian Senyondo will have a lot of pain if they can beat him with the surplus requirements that KCCA released. That will also be a mark that shows that, yes, Kitara was a small club, but this coach was also a small coach. So he will want to have his players perform better to show that, yes, you were lucky, you were talking because you had the armory. I have the armory, and he would want to do it in style. Same way you saw him dispatch UPDF in that game. And I don't expect this game to be cagey at any moment. I don't expect Abdallah to be defensive, much as it would be the obvious approach as an away side. And I don't expect Brian Senyondo to be that cautious or even satisfied if the game is level. Because this game is a must-win. It's a 6-pointer. We call it a 6-pointer. You must take half of the 6 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gavin has been patterned with different pairings in the centre back. At Maroons, it was different. UPDF, it was Muhammad. Now Muhammad and Enokalu seem to adopt 10.
Well, I think they are having a lot of challenges at the moment. Sometimes when you have many players in your team and they all have the same kind of abilities, it is hard to choose. I was thinking that the resting of Saidi Mayanja and Ashraf Mugume was intended to have them fresh for this game, thinking that the players they have could play, because the days in between the fixture were shorter. But when you look at having Obenchan back immediately, and then you think they're not really sure about their defensive setting. For the midfield, it's a little obvious. They wanted to know exactly where Nana can play. But then Lazaro was playing in the right back position. He has to stay there. Obenchan and Gavin were always, if not right back, they were playing on the right of the defense. And Hassan Mood was the constant factor in the left. Sometimes they even played Achai there and having Mubezi on that side. Mubezi came in that game and came and contributed to the goals. But somehow I think they are trying to look at the threat that UPPC is, and that is a weakness for me. If you are building a team, first build it on your strong points. Not construct it depending on the weakness the opponent can see in you. Because you don't coach the opponent, you coach your team. So I think they will have a challenge, because now ask yourself, who is going to play on the left side of the center back? Is it going to be Obenchan or is it going to be Gavin?
It should be Obenchan.
Well, we turn the focus to the traveling side is starting 11. Rogers Omedwa in goal. Mustafa Mjuzi returns with him putting on the captain's armband for Entebbe UPPC. A formal one for KCFC at some moments. Ahmed Amayo, Julius Poroto, the young boy that was nurtured at KCFC, will now turn guns against his former parent club. Stephen Munguchi as well, same. Hassan Senyonjo, Jonathan Gift Odong, Issa Bugembe, Ambrose Chigozi, Muhammad Cheune, and Issa Mubiru. 4 players formerly at KCFC, but Bob, the midfield, Hassan Senyonjo, of course, the other Senyonjo is their side, and the rest, they have had creativity and composure in that midfield. I'm looking forward for that battle. Hassan Senyonjo, the Cheunes, Muhammad Cheune, and Issa Bugembe.
Yeah, absolutely. You have got to look at, of course, also Stephen Munguchi. I was not given an opportunity at KCCA, but if you have seen him play, you know the kind of quality that he has. He's the kind of player who's going to hold it for the others to enjoy the game, covering the, shielding the back four, and of course linking up play. Look at also players like Hassan Senyonjo. You know what to expect from him. If you ask him to play as to link up play, play as a box-to-box midfielder, he can give you that. He has the pass on him. He has very good vision, Hassan Senyonjo. Like Tendo said, there's always been a feeling that he deserved better than Wakiso Giants. Much as this might not be the biggest club in Uganda, but he has an opportunity to show what his quality. So the other player I want to talk about maybe is Issa Bugembe, because he's also very good, is robust in size. He has a very good touch on him, but when push comes to shove, he has a good shot on him, can actually shoot from distance or whatever. And also being, having played as a center forward, he can be a very likely opportunity for UPPC to have a goal, making it a run from deep, arriving in the good positions in the box. Is one player that is going to give KCCA a lot of trouble, in my opinion, because he's a smart player, and also he can play a series of positions. So
will be unfolding under the floodlights at MTN Omondi Stadium, Gogo, and Fufa TV. I will be bringing you every piece of action as it will be going down at MTN Omondi Stadium, Gogo, as Abdalambiru returns to his former side KCF Football Club. It was just at KCFC just a few months ago, and now he returns back. Will it be probably a good reunion with his former bosses? But we shall be taking a look at the starting 11, starting with that of the hosting side KCCA Football Club, with Charles Lukwago maintaining his position in goal. Herbert Achai puts on the captain's armband despite Lukwago being part of the team. I don't know what's behind that, but Said Mayanja returns back to the team after missing out the starting position in that game against UPDF. Sami Ronald Sebaduka, he was on the squad in the previous game. Ivan Ainisiwe fullback. Obenchan returns back into the team. Ashraf Mugume Shafik Nana Kwikriza maintains his position. Gavin Kizito starts his third game in a row for KCFC. Joe Seunjoji maintains his position, same as Lazaro Muhindo Bwambale Bob.
Good to have Saidi Manager back into the team. I always think he plays best when he's along, or KCCA look better when he's alongside Joel Serunjoji, compared to when Joel is playing with Brian Jara. Even though they managed to put 4 past UPDF, but on very many times before we have actually seen it. Me myself, I prefer Saidi and Joel playing together. KCCA looks a bit better. Even though take nothing away from, of course, the youngster Brian Jara is also a very hard-working midfielder, and but then it is good to have Saidi Mayanja. We know what he can bring. He's tidy passing in the midfield area, and also he manages to time his runs. And at the end of the day, he's into the penalty area, and he can actually give you a goal or two. So him.
that starting 11 for Entebbe UPPC, where is their weapon and their major strength to harm KCCA FC?
First of all, they have a stable defense. And of course, we know the foundation of a team is the defense, especially in Uganda. Safe hands in goal and a stable backline that doesn't require so much intervention will give you the impetus to go forward. He was talking about Stephen Munguchi being the shield. Actually, in most of these games, Munguchi goes even forward beyond the center line and operates from there. And then Issa Bugembe, because of his long range of passing, he drops as the deep lying playmaker, and then Munguchi chases, and then when they win the ball, they have those triangles they play with Hassan Senyonjo, and depending on the end of the pitch they are at, if it is on the right, they will include Muhammad Cheyune. If it is on the left, normally it has been John Kokas Alu. But today, the introduction of Poroto at the start shows that they have read that Achai will be tasked to move. Now you are going to have Poroto and Achai. I expect Poroto to be either on the right, but again, he could also go on the left of UPPC, and then Cheyune would also go either way, because Cheyune can play either side of the wing, and that the same way Poroto can. And that is going to destabilize KCC's fullbacks from going and supporting attack. And these are players that you think are better attacking than defending. And then when you have that and Ambrose Chigozi in the middle, you expect to have the ball played in the final third, even when you are the away side. So I think it's going to be a very, very, very crafty kind of game.
And consistency in everything they do. But they have also kept a couple of clean sheets. And you could mention Isambiru is under also in Godfrey, who played very well during his time at the national team and the club. Do you think there is something that probably Walusimbi has added to Issa's again? Because actually he was one of the players you could say he was surplus requirement at KCCA Football Club, if I could use that word at Boros.
Yeah, I think, you know, I always say this, when I look at the people in the technical department, I expect what was identified of them to be shown in the team. That is why if you have a team that has Simeon Masawa and Jajawaru, there is a no-brainer there that the left back or the right back would be flying. There is no way, it would be abomination to say the team that is having Jajawaru or Nestor Ichizito and the full back is cautious. You know, that would be a disservice. So the composure and the newly found confidence that Issa Mubiru has gotten, you should credit it to that. But also the defensive ingenuity that they are showing as a team, again goes to Livingstone Babazi. Livingstone Babazi is one of the footballers who could play every position perfectly. Probably apart from goal, because he never went there when we were seeing, but people who followed him could have seen him, and he did that at all levels, club and national team, not just youth, but even the Cranes. And he went to professional football as a midfielder, and he went and played as a striker, and he's one of the greatest players in St. Patrick history, scoring a number of goals. But we saw him during the Cranes games when the defense was struggling, and he could come and play as the center back, and playing like a libero, moving with the ball and all that. And you see those marks in the way UPPC plays. Mujuzi was a pack of nerves at KCCA FC. I remember one game where he even had an altercation with Saka Mpima. I think Mpima was trying to give him instructions and all that, and the guy said, Gurwaji Tojano Gusamba. You know, so, but when you see the transformation he has had now, and he looks so big now, reminds me almost of how Babas was. Because at a certain moment as a defender, you need to have that intimidating structure. So he has that, but the way he's playing is not the way he was playing at KCCA. So you think that Abdallah was right to demand that in his team, he has the likes of Livingstone Babazi as assistants. When you go into the middle, you'll see the frame of Abdallah Mubiru, the midfielder. Abdallah Mubiru, the midfielder, was one of the calmest players who wanted to have the ball threaded up to the last moment. And those who didn't have a chance to use it, always he requested it so that he does the rebuilding. So you see that in Issa Bugembe and any midfielder they use in the central midfield. You see that composure in the likes of Senyonjo. Senyonjo, who has been schooled at Wakiso Giants, and so many people people saw him suffering sometimes because Wakiso Giants didn't have the like of the combination that suited his talent, and people were like, this boy is going to finish his career here. If he gets a better team, everyone will see his class. Him and John Kokas Alu have that free role to move everywhere. Now, that is a mark of a team you would have expected at KCCA, because that is the KO KCCA is doing. The only challenge is they might want to overshow KCCA, the KO that they missed, and be hit on the dead end, because the KCCA of today is more interested in results than the style of play, because it's been a long time since they won silverware. So the coaches there know that what is going to redeem them is getting results, and this is one of those results, because if you are a coach at KCCA, you must be sure that the people who are obvious choices for coach either are not jobless, or when you meet them, you beat them.
Okay.
The moment they overpower you, irrespective of